All right, so we'll get going with the second half. Firstly, let me welcome our two new jury members for this half of the day, Mr. Ashwin Patni, Head of Alternate Products at Axis Asset Management, and Ms. Shashi Singh, who heads business at Singularity Holdings VC. So, Ashwin and Shashi, you already know the format. I but still, I would quickly like to have a quick word from you in terms of what's your expectations from the next two showcase partners who are coming, and what has actually brought you here today.
If I can go first, I think quite looking forward to hearing. I got the tail end of the last session as I came in. The challenge in these things always is to sort of find what to focus on in a 20-minute window. So, in terms of just bringing out the key areas, hopefully people can just sort of cut to the chase quickly without spending a lot of time setting the context, because a lot of people know that in some of the problem statements are well known in finance. But really looking forward.
Thank you, Shashi.
Yeah, same here, and we're seeing, how fintech is evolving and what we're trying to do to get all the solutions for the investors to move from physical to digital.
Super. So on that note, I think I'll invite Mr. Prakash Somaya from Finnate. Finnate is our third showcase partner for the day. And Prakash, over to you to take us through Finnate and journey of Centelon also as an organization. So 20 minutes and then follow shop.
Thanks, Aditya. Good afternoon, all. I'll try to cut the chase. I had a few slides on getting on to the current state of the market, but I think I'll quickly run through it so that it becomes, we focus on where we need to genuinely focus, right? Our solution is specifically based for alternative investment funds. So while we try to bring in a story about alternative investment funds to say they are the fastest growing investment instruments today in the market, growing at 26% CAGR as per the recent reports and so forth. But I believe most of you are aware of all of this. We read newspapers, we read reports, so this is all there at top of your mind. What I would want to focus quickly on in the challenges that the industry faces in our view. This is based upon our conversations, our surveys, our discussions with a lot of GPs that is there. The key thing that we hear from a lot of them, and this is specifically the small VCs and private equity funds. When I say small, it's somewhere between AUM of 100 crores to 1,000 crores, which are where they manage few funds out there. Is they work on high volume of data. There's a lot of investment requests that keep on coming to them day in and day out. The second is they don't use a application as such. So most of them rely on spreadsheets, PPTs, Word documents, and so forth. And that leads to a lot of inconsistency of data across different points in time. Regulator is now getting hold of things, and they require real-time reports, quarterly reports, and then providing that reports, it sometimes becomes a challenge in terms of getting real-time information that is there. While the industry is growing, obviously for any growing industry, there's a dearth of experienced people, and that is why there's a churn in team. And then the institutional memory is lost. If I have worked on a deal, I start working on it, somebody else comes in, there's not enough handover being done, enough track being done, and a lot of things remain in emails and shared drives and so forth. Operational efficiency in terms of taking decisions, communicating to investors, and finally, again, all of it is around compliance, right? So what we have tried doing with Finnate, and I'm just getting directly onto the point, is it's a SaaS platform. So small fund houses with a team of 8 to 10 people, 15 people max, don't have an in-house IT team. It's a SaaS platform. You don't need to take care of technology. We take care of it all, right? From hosting it to managing it to upgrades, there's nothing that you need to worry about. It's a configurable zero-code platform. So while doing initial implementations, we configure it for you, but thereafter there's always a possibility of one of your smarter guys who is keen on doing something starts playing with it and starts setting up their own processes, their own rules in terms of how do you want to run it. The platform is focused on AIF and NBFC. We have two flavors of it. So Finnate for AIF, which I'm going to detail out today. We also have something for NBFCs, which is being used by a few NBFCs out here in India and in Africa, Australia as well. Currently, we are able to cater to private equity, private debt, real estate investments, and venture capital. We are expanding, we are growing in terms of the portfolio that we can cover as a part of our portfolio, or as a part of our tool. Now, when we look at the entire business life cycle, and I'll get into it in detail over subsequent slides, for any PVC fund, you would start from raising investment, so you need something to manage your investor pipeline or investor CRM. You would want to onboard your investors. You would want to run your deal pipeline, wherein your investment opportunities, you want to run it through the entire cycle of data collection, due diligence, getting internal approvals, IC approvals, and then term sheet signing. You'd want to monitor it post your investments are done, right? And then a lot of this information needs to go to the access to the investors, because investors are now becoming keen and getting interested to know information at as real time possible as, right? Now, we intend to build all, but today we have mastered ourselves, or we have perfected ourselves in 3 pieces of it: detail onboarding, origination, which is the deal pipeline management, and post-investment monitoring. There are 2 models which are currently under build, which is RAISE, which is the investor CRM, and InvestFact, where we take care of fund accounting and managing of your fee structures, hurdles, waterfall, and so forth. This is again something which is quite known to all of you in terms of depiction of where each of the models sits. So I quickly ran through it while I was talking about what is ready, what is not. Raise and investor onboarding during your capital raise cycle, while you are searching for your portfolio companies to invest, doing capital calls, your deal onboarding, origination, that is the deal pipeline management, and fund administration or fund accounting pieces of it. Towards the end, again, computing returns, figuring out what your fees are, 220 structure, hurdles, waterfalls, all that comes under InvestFact, and obviously monitoring of your investment that's there. So broadly, this is where we look at right today. We cater to primarily Cat 1 and Cat 2 funds. Within Cat 2, we still have not done anything for fund of fund. But otherwise, you look at venture capital, SME infrastructure, venture debt, private equity, distressed loans. We cater to all these areas today. I think this is more of the similar things that I have tried to communicate in the previous slides. It's we are trying to make your processes, streamline your processes, right? So today, a lot of things happen through emails, through exchange of paper, and all that stuff. We are trying to streamline it through investor onboarding, maybe investor onboarding through deal pipeline management, improving your efficiency, managing your data in a single place. So from the point where the first request for investment comes in, so let's say Centron as an organization, which is a parent company for Finnate, we are looking for investments, and we put a request to one of the PE funds or a VC funds to say we are looking for investment. From the point we put in our first pitch deck till the point you take an investment decision and we sign the term sheet, everything sits in a single system. At the same time, from an investor perspective, the point you reach out to an HNI or an ultra HNI or a family office to look at, to request them for investment or to start pitching on your fund, till the point of time they decide to make an investment and commit to you and you sign term sheets with them, everything sits in the same system. Right? Your capital calls are there, your exit disbursements are there. So everything is there seamlessly tied to each other. Right? And that, in our view, once the entire chain is built, would genuinely bring a lot of value to mid and small VC and private equity firms. I can get into details of each and talk about what are the features that come into it. But what I would do is I would actually leave it to question and session, because I've tried broadly covering it, and I believe all of you would have looked at similar tools in past in some shape and form, right? So it could be eFront, it could be All Value, it could be others that you would have seen. Those are generally in terms of value that they bring in, the cost it comes in, they are for larger funds. What we are catering to boutique, small private equity and VC firms is what we are looking at this point of time. So we have an investor CRM, which I said is underbuilt, an investor onboarding platform which takes care of your KYC, AML checks, e-signing of contracts, live photo capture if it's an individual. That's in place today. A deal pipeline management which has its configurable workflows. So within your firm, you can decide what your processes are going to be, how your checks and balances are going to be, how many stages it is going to go through, who is going to approve what, if you have to engage with external agencies for legal due diligence or for financial due diligence, those capabilities are in the system to share the information with the external agencies and get their feedback back from them. All that is inbuilt in the system. This is also up and running with some of our customers today. InvestFact, which is the fund accounting piece, we are looking at. We are currently building a multi-currency GL because some of the funds also do an investment not only in INR but in USD, SGD, and other currencies. So a same fund partially being invested in INR, partially being invested in some other currency. How do we have a multi-currency GL managing it all? Your management fees, your hurdle, your waterfall, your IRR returns, your entire exit calculations we are trying to manage. And I know a lot of this is being done by fund administrators, which is outsourced piece of it. But for small funds, specifically when you are starting, you would want to keep a mirror of what is happening outside as well, right? So we are trying to build all that capability so that you also internally have it with you. Monitoring is specifically for post-investment monitoring. So once you have taken a decision to invest, it would be based upon a lot of attributes. When we spoke to a lot of GPs and fund managers, they said, apart from my gut feeling in terms of confidence on the founders, on the team, we would have looked at about 10-15 different financial and operational parameters in terms of projections for next 3 years, 5 years, which would have led us to take a decision. Now, those parameters have to be monitored on a quarterly basis, on a monthly basis, to ensure that you exit at the right time, and if there are deviations to it, you intervene at the right time. Today, this happens through comparison of Excels and comparison of presentations a lot of time. Monitor is this platform where you can have the underwriting plans and underwriting financials uploaded, and then you can compare it with your MIS reports on a month-on-month basis. It gives you a pictorial view. It helps you define your lower and upper control limits wherein alerts are triggered, and you don't need to do everything. Your investing companies can actually get access to the system and upload whatever MICs are required to be uploaded. So you don't need to follow up. Those notifications to them for follow-up and everything is also taken care. This is broadly a success story that we have with a Cat 1 fund in India. They had this challenge because they were managing the entire deal pipeline on an spreadsheet, which was Google Forms, from Google Forms and Google Sheets. They had about 3,500 investment opportunities that they would have done a due diligence for, either dropped at the initial stage or dropped at the end stage. And again, they wanted to do some analytics on it, which was becoming very difficult in terms of because things were spread across. We migrated all their past data to the platform. They are now using our platform for deal pipeline management as well as post-investment monitoring of it. That helps them get industry-wide statistics in terms of what are the opportunities, at what valuation they came in, look at things while taking decisions. Slowly over a period of time, an AI/ML model is getting built, which will help them in terms of while using the deal onboarding, which is tagged to their website. When the request comes in itself, it starts giving them scores and alerts to say whether they should really invest time and effort into it or they should allow it to let go. So that's what we have done till now. We started building this just around the time COVID started. Our first internal conversation around getting a platform like this was in January 2020. We started working on it in June. As we stand, from an NBFC perspective, we have 5 customers who are using it. From an AI perspective, we have 2 customers who are using the platform today. Yeah, open to question answers.
Yeah. So maybe if I could start with the disclaimer that I'm Cat 3, so I'm not going to look at your product at the moment. But you emphasize that really it's kind of new funds setting up, smaller ones, boutiques, which would mean they would look at cost as well. But how much customization kind of goes into when you come and say we can do this? Is there a lot more customization that you'd probably have to do for those, or is it just a plug and play?
So it's not plug and play. At the same time, it's not huge customization as well. We have kept it configurable. So we are currently in a position where we can set it up for the deal pipeline management, right? Whatever process you come up with in terms of how you want to manage it within your organization and what is the data that you want to capture. We can set up a deal pipeline for you within 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. You can actually go live within a month's time frame. Right? And like I said, it's configurable. So if you have a smart guy who loves playing around with an IT tool, we also provide an instance where actually you can play around and then port it to the production instance.
Do you also, are you at some stage also trying to integrate external data sources into this to support decision making and stuff?
So as of now, we have not, but the platform is capable of, we have an API or an integration hub from where we can do integrations to external data sources. So while we did it for NBFCs where we are integrating with external data sources, from an AI perspective, we have not done it yet.
Essentially, I mean, you did have a situation where a company could update their data, but otherwise, essentially, you're relying on the AIF manager to upload the data and then on ongoing basis track it.
Yes. What we are doing is we are making tracking a little more easier than you trying to compare sheets. That's one. Secondly, within your team, one of your team members has uploaded the data, right? You would want to set up some upper and lower control limits. For example, if for this quarter, as per projection, the revenue was supposed to be 5 crores. As a GP, you are okay if it is within 10% limit, right? If it was said that 5 crores, you are okay with 4.5 or 5.5. But if it goes below 4.5, you want you to be alerted immediately so that you can start intervening and taking corrective actions. Now, every time going and comparing, and then each investment would have different control limits. Trying to keep a track of it becomes a challenge. Here you have configured it. Right? You have configured your bands, your green, amber, and red bands. And you have configured in terms of what action has to be taken when it crosses that band. So immediately those alerts, and you can see it on the dashboard, those email gets triggered. So once either your team member or the investee company has uploaded the data, system processes it, compares it, and immediately starts throwing alerts and indicators, right? And if everything is green, it's green. Then you don't need to even look at it, right? So for a particular investment, if everything is going as per the plan, and sometimes that also becomes a issue because you could be as per plan on 1 or 2 months, but not on ongoing basis. So if it continuously is in green, then you also want to go and look at it, how is getting managed that way, right? Because I cannot predict the future. I run my business, I know in month of February, when I give the projection for the next entire year, there are a few months when I'm in green, but probably most of the months I'm not in green, I'm in amber or red. So that happens with any business. So that's, you can just put in defined rules and see how you can want to monitor it.
So 2 of the important modules are under construction, you said, and 2 are live.
3 are live.
3 are live. What are the timelines for the other 2 to be done? And I just wanted to understand what's the revenue model for you.
So we are. So let me start with the second question first. We are a SaaS platform. So for our revenue model is subscription. We go with per user license. So we have a one-time setup fee and then a per user license based upon the size of the fund house. Raise is something which probably will take us another quarter or 4 months to get it live. Okay. InvestTrack, which is the fund accounting piece, we are looking at it going live somewhere around May, June next year.
So you're not at the back end integrating with some other fund accounting platform, you're making it yourself, both for digital, the raise also, there are now enough platforms available.
So enough platforms are available. What happens is there are niche platforms available who specialize in that role, right? And we always had a choice to become an aggregator of all them and bring them in, right? In that case, what happens is, let's say digital onboarding. In India itself, I know of another 10 companies who do digital onboarding for investors, be it in AIF or PMS space. Now, you as a fund house may have a choice A. Patni sir may have a choice B. Somebody may have a choice C. We cannot keep on integrating with all of them. And some of these things we've thought if we have built in-house, then it's easy for us to integrate because now we have all the data that we own. Right? And I'm saying when I say we own in the sense the fund house owns it. We don't own the data, right? It's a SaaS platform, but the data is with the fund house, right? So from the point where you start talking to the investor, the entire information is with you, right? Otherwise, there's one SaaS platform where there is some information lying here. There's another SaaS platform where there's other information lying here. Now you have to again pipe it together when you have to take a decision, right? So investor portal is something which is planned. We have not picked it up right now, but we are happy if there's a fund which is keen on doing a co-build, we are happy to get associated and prioritize some of the stuff that we can co-build and start with.
See, I have a question in continuation to what Shashi mentioned. So there are umpteen number of platforms which are available as far as the onboarding solutions are concerned. And more importantly, now it's become a basic hygiene for the fund administrator to provide these kind of platforms. So today we at Fintech, also being an RTA, we have our own digital onboarding platform. And over a period of time, it's becoming a more of a hygiene, and it's becoming freebie for most of the asset managers who are taking the core services. So how do you see the business model being viable when first competition is being very, very high on this space, and this is always a peripheral service and not the core service for any service provider?
You are bang on. So that's where if you look at the entire portfolio, right? If I'm managing the investor CRM through Raise, right? What is the end story of investor CRM? An investor decides to make an investment. He says, okay, take my 5 crore rupees in a particular fund, or take my 10 crore rupees in a particular fund. Now I switch over to some other platform to do an investor onboarding. Once that is done, I again get him into a point where now if I have to collect fees, or if I have to calculate fees, or if I have to calculate exit amounts, or if I have to calculate IRR, and then I have to take it again back to my platform. So for us, onboarding may not be a revenue model as such, or it may not generate huge revenue. Like you said, it's a hygiene. It has been commoditized now. But when it comes across as a single unit, right, which is chained together, that's where the value comes in.
So you have investor onboarding, don't have the other like fund accounting and all. What you monitor in the monitor section?
So monitor is where we are monitoring financial and operational matrices, which you had looked at while taking investment decisions.
Okay, I will refine my question
Okay, yeah,
more.
please.
Investor onboarding, digital onboarding, you have basic informations. Okay. Other than that, it's just a skeleton of the data you have. Monitoring is exactly what monitoring you are doing. What is the data source for you to monitor?
Okay. So if I can just take a little longer to answer this, right? Let's again take a case which I tried to explain. Centron is looking out for investment, right? And as a fund house, you decide to invest in us. Your investment decision would be based upon the team, right? You would talk to me, you would talk to the CEO, you would talk to the other team members. You would say, okay, this is the right team for me to work with. But beyond that, we would come and present you. We will do a pitch deck to you. We'll come and present to you to say what is our plan for next 3 years, 5 years in terms of our growth, in terms of our investment. What is the ROI that we are looking at? What is the profitability numbers that we are looking at? How we are looking at scaling. We may also tell what are the products that we are launching and what is the revenue that we are looking out from those products and services that is going to be there. And there are going to be n number of different parameters based on which you may take a decision at the end of it. Right? And you would want to monitor it on a regular basis, because you cannot come back after 3 years and then say, Centron had said a revenue of 500 crores, but they are still only at 200, sitting at 200 crores after 3 years. Right? You would keep on want to monitor us month on month, quarter on quarter. Now, how do you do that today? You do that manually. We send you an MIS, you look at what we had promised you, you try to compare, and then you have a discussion with us. Or we send you a presentation to say, we had promised this and this is what we have achieved. Here the system does it. So you have a baseline plan or an underwriting plan which is uploaded in the system. On a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, whatever is the aggregate frequency, we upload our MISs, our cash flow, balance sheet, P&L, whatever file formats are required. And the system processes it and then tries to figure out what is the variances against the initial plan. It puts in alerts, shows you on dashboards how your investments are behaving.
Okay, I will again redefine my question. So I'm the MC where investment manager, right. And say I have the Fintech who take care that's the RTA. So we have onboarded through your portal, okay. But all the communication between me and it's happening with RTA.
That is about investor communication, right?
Yes.
We are talking about post-investment, your investee company or your portfolio company is monitoring.
How you will get data from me? Because I'm AMC, okay. I have the investor information. I have even investee information. How I will give you? I mean, what is the source you will get data from me?
Okay. It's a SaaS platform, right? You get access to the platform in terms of accessing the data. You get access to the platform to configure it the way you need it to be configured. Right? So when you were running your deal pipeline, let's say like Sentinel, you had a mandate to invest into tech companies. Like Sentinel, there were another 100 companies which had approached you for an investment. For some reason, and whatever your view was, you decided to invest in Sentinel. Now, while taking the decision, there were certain attributes based on which you took that decision. And those were the plans that we had submitted you. So you have that information in terms of why did you take that decision. Now that information moves from deal pipeline management, which is originate, to monitor.
So you are saying, does we have LMS kind of things over here in this process?
When you say LMS, can you just
Like what is cash flow? Because many things, after, if I start investing, that is again different vertical.
okay?
So those data will flow here, or
I still did not get your question. Sorry, but I'm not clear in terms of what you want to exactly ask.
no? So if you see, we have a two part. One is we are getting money from investor,
Right.
that we can get just initial how much amount is here. That's investor onboarding. We can get it that how much amount they want to contribute and how much contributed. Then second part is where I'm investing this money.
Perfect.
Okay, and that is again big journey, user journey, where I want to invest, or I see notes and many things going on. So will you store those data also in this system?
So your IC notes and everything is stored in Originate, which is a deal pipeline management, right? Where you do deal origination, where you, as that's what I was trying to explain. So as a company, when Centron comes and pitches you, from my first pitch deck till the decision that you make, and even generation of your term sheet can happen on the platform.
Okay.
Okay. Now, while doing that, you also capture in terms of what are the milestones on which you are. So you decide to invest, let's say 20 crores in Centron, but you are not going to give us cash on day zero, right? You are not going to sign a check and give it to us. There will be certain milestones which are achieved over a period of next 2-3 years, and that's how you are going to make investment with us. That will also define your capital calls with your investors. Right? Now, that's one piece of it. But once you have made an investment, is your investment behaving or performing as per what was promised or what was agreed? Because that defines your exit strategy. You would have decided to exit after 4 years or 5 years based upon my commitment to say that my revenue would be X, my profitability would be Y, my valuation in terms of my product portfolio. So I would have said that in next 1 year, I'm going to build this entire chain. The 3 remaining pieces also are going to get built. I'm going to shift my focus from India to, let's say, a Mauritius market or a Singapore market, which is more lucrative market than what India market is. Now, whether I'm doing that or not has to be monitored. How do you do that? System would, what you do manually, system is automating it.
Okay.
So, from what I've understood is that as an AMC or as an investee company, we upload the MIS that is given by the company to us.
Right.
Is there a preset MIS that is defined by you?
So you can so there is a preset MIS that we define, but then you can further configure it based on the business model that is there. So for each investment, you can have a pre-configured model. Right. And then that pre-configured template can be given to your investee company to fill up and send it to you every month or every quarter.
Okay.
Right. Because you may have different parameters to monitor a Centlon vis-a-vis any other IT company, because they would have given you a different pitch and there would be different reasons for you to make an investment there. So you would be looking at different data points from them, then you look at data points from me.
Now, where I see this lack is actually on a month-on-month basis, actually auditing those numbers. So the biggest problem with startups is that what the number that they are giving me, is it actually true? So is your software able to fetch maybe data from the GST websites and actually audit those numbers, make a comparable and give it to me on a that basis that the number that the company has reported is quite different from what actually they have reported to the GST website?
So we can do that based on consent. Right? Pulling the data from GST website, the details of invoicing from GST website is based on consent. So we can, if the company provides the consent, then there are third-party providers which allow you to pull that information. For example, Perfios. Right? Perfios allows me to pull the GST information if I have a consent. So we can pull that information and then do a comparison between the MIS numbers and what is there on the GST website. So let's say on terms of my revenue, GST shows invoicing of only 1 CR, whereas I'm saying it's 2 CR. That's what we are trying to compare, right? Yeah, we can do that.
And you would be able to generate a report for that?
We can generate reports, we can generate triggers and alerts, we can give it on a dashboard to say this is the differences that are there.
Okay, thank you.
Jury members, you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Prakash.
you.